She's the woman of the moment, one of my favorite filmmakers because I've seen Gully Boy. So you know exactly how I feel about the film because I, in detail, spoke to you post the screening. How important it is for you to make sure all characters in a film, they come out of their own, you know, nobody's sort of left behind, or how important it is for you as a director?
I think it's, before I even get to the directing stage, I think it's important for Reema Karti and me as writers to make sure that all our characters are fleshed, all our characters are, you know, blood and bones and dreams at the end of the day. Everyone has to have dimensions, you know, they can't be cutouts. And we like having an arc to each one, especially all the main supporting characters, and we like to wrap stories. And sometimes, I mean, as much as people appreciate that, that does add 20 minutes length to your film.
It does.
But I'll take that over just abandoning characters, or just have people that are not completely fleshed out, or people that just come in and go as convenience, you know? So I'll just take this.
Gully Boy, what I noticed was that your women characters are extremely subtle in expressing their sexuality, yet brazen, without saying much. Whether it was Ranveer's mother, in a way she talks about how she also can, you know, get another man in her life if she wants to. Whether it's, you know, it's Kalki, who's not afraid to take the step, you know, further. Or even if it's Alia, you know, while she might not be out there, she's not afraid to sort of have a passionate moment with her boyfriend, despite the kind of strata or class they belong to. It's interesting that you've shown that in 3 different aspects. Was that important for you as well?
No, it all depends on which, what your story is, what your narrative is, where they fit in, what the context is. I mean, I don't think sexuality is something that is specific to a strata. It's a human condition. It's a human force. You know, it's a life force. It's actually the life force. Which is sexuality. It runs across all people. And why shouldn't it be out there? And why do we pretend that it doesn't exist? And why do we subvert it? And why do we have to put it out in a vulgar dance move, or in a, you know, in a pretentious scene which is wrapped in love? Sometimes it's just physical attraction. Sometimes it's just physicality you need to discuss. And it depends on what the story is and what context they come in, you know. With Ranveer's mother, and she's a young woman, you know, she's coming from a space of anger, she's coming from a space of neglect. Whether it's Alia, which is a love story, you know, and there's tenderness in it, and whether it's the Sky character, the Kalki character, which is pure attraction, you know, but that's also affection, and that's also positive, and that's also friendship, you know. So I think it's healthy, and I think it's normal, and it's natural, and I think it's important to see it on screen in a way that's consensual. You know, I mean, I grew up in a generation where we could only see rape scenes. Consensual sex wasn't allowed, or kissing wasn't allowed, but rape scenes were allowed, which is kind of weird. So you grew up only with abuse, and you, it's a very strange and very disturbing way to see sex and sexuality. You know, where women are not supposed to want it, and men. It just wasn't clean. And I think it's very important to put consent out there, and tenderness out there, and what it's meant to be like. It needn't always be about love, you know, but what it's what is healthy.
Nas, as one of the, you know, executive co-producers, do you think it helped to sort of get the film, you know, more out there globally?
Well, it definitely help the film, you know, in that sense of getting Nas's likeness in the film, or getting his track in the film, or getting to use him, because we are talking about artists and these kids that grew up listening to him. They've grown up listening to Tupac, they've grown up listening to Nas, you know, they've grown up listening to Eminem. These are the artists that they really admire and have studied. So to have him in the film, and to have Nazy and Divine, you know, and Ranveer do a track with him, that was the big deal. More than anything else, I think that's the one that made the biggest difference to the film. And then of course him as an executive producer, and the track on Savan, and Savan really broke up this whole thing. And yeah, it will definitely have a bigger platform, for sure.
Alia, where she said that, you know, I was glad I got to be angry on screen, because somewhere I felt all of us have this pent up anger, and you know, it's liberating to sort of do a character who is not afraid to be angry and the way she is.
You know where she's coming from, and you know that she's a bit of a short fuse, and somehow very in between the lines you understand why she is the way she is.
Yeah.
When you see her family set up, when you see her life and her restrictions and how bright she is and what she has to deal with just because of her gender, you kind of understand where she's coming from. The fact that her mother's violent with her is something that she probably grew up with.
Yeah.
So you do understand that kind of space, and when somebody is not given the freedom and they're smart enough to handle it, they tend to, you know, get frustrated with that.
You take you know, actors who have big brand image, whether it's Shah Rukh, Ranveer, there's certain image that they already have in their personal life, you know, in the public persona. As a character, the celebration is when they become the character, and you don't remember a Ranveer Singh on screen,
Right.
or a Shah Rukh, which is what people have noticed here as well. You know, you've beautifully used the silences in these films, and you know, you don't feel you see Ranveer Singh, you feel Murad. You know, how was that process of bringing out the Murad in Ranveer Singh?
He's a very, very sympathetic, empathetic,
Yeah.
deeply, you know, sensitive actor. So he knew what was required once he heard the script. He has a lot of gravitas as a person.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just discussing where he's coming from, what he is. And he's a keen observer of the world around him, you know. And he's an empath. He picks stuff up and he can feel it, you know, and he can transmit that feeling to you. So it's very easy working with him. You know, he's a kind person, and that makes a very big difference. Because you take the world in and then you can put it out. It's easy to do, you know. It's not alien emotionally for him.
Now that everything's settled in, do you feel a little overwhelmed with the responses that you all have got? I saw Will Smith's video and I felt overwhelmed. I was like, felt like our film.
I'm really excited. I'm really relieved, and I'm happy. So let's see. I hope it sustains. I hope more people watch it. I hope more people like it. Yeah.
Well, I hope so too.
Yeah.
Thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.